So in this section, we're going to be talking about where the graphs are increasing and decreasing. So for our first example here, in this first image, if we just look at where this graph is increasing, it's just where the graph is going up. And you look at the graph from left to right, just like you read a book, okay? So on this graph, it's increasing from here to here, because that's where it's going up. It's where it's going uphill. And you talk about where it's going up from your x values between the 2 points. So from this point to this point. So it starts going up basically from -1 to 1. And the way that we write that in interval notation is like this. So from -1 to 1. So it starts going up at -1, and then it would start going back downhill at +1. And if we wanted to do this as an inequality, we would write it like this. So this is where it's increasing. Now, if we look at where it's decreasing, where it's going downhill. So this graph over here would be going downhill from here to here, and it's also going downhill from here to here. So this graph, it's got the arrow here. So basically that means that it's going to the left forever. So we would say on this one, it would be starting at -infinity. And then it stops going downhill at -1. And then we do our union. And then this is where it starts going downhill again. So it picks back up at 1, and then it's going, we see that we've got the arrow here. So it's going downhill forever, so to infinity, okay? And then if we do this as an inequality, we would say x is less than -1. And then x is greater than +1. So that's how we'd represent that as inequalities as well. If you wanted some more practice, some more practice for multiple choice questions, you could go to Khan Academy. If you just did a search in your Google bar in Khan Academy and just did increasing and decreasing Khan Academy, and you could do some practice there. So if we did some more practice using Desmos, if we just type these equations into Desmos, and let's just look at some increasing and decreasing there. So I've already got these equations typed into Desmos. So for A, let's just look at where these are increasing. So I've already got the first one typed in. That's number 1 up here on my board. So if we just focus on where it's increasing. So you can see that this graph, this one is just going down forever. So we would start this one at -infinity. And you can see if I click here, and we'll round to 1 decimal place. So it's from -infinity to -1.3. So that's going to be my first interval. And that wasn't the only place where this one was increasing. This also increases, so it starts at 0, and it starts going up again. So it picks back up at 0, and it's going up forever. So from 0 to infinity. All right, so looking at B. So I'm going to turn this graph off, and I'm going to turn B on. So if I zoom in on this graph, I can see that this has a slight increase starting here. So it's going up. It starts going up at -0.4. We'll round that to -0.4. And it's going up from -0.4 to 0. And it's also going up. Okay, so this one little part here, you know, from 0 to 0.3, that's going downhill, but it picks back up at 0.3, and then it's going up forever. So it's going up from 0.3 to infinity. All right, so looking at C, all right, so this one, if we zoom out, our absolute value graph, so this one is increasing from -3 to infinity because it's going up forever. So -3 to infinity. And remember, we're always using our x values. Okay, so on example 5, we're looking at where it's decreasing. So where is it going down? Okay. All right. So if we look at this one, okay, so this one is continuously decreasing. This one's always going down. Still using our x value, so it starts at -0.5. And it's going down forever. All right, if we look at our next one, okay. So this one is decreasing. If we zoom in, this one is decreasing until we get to this point right here. If we zoom in, so it's decreasing until we get to -0.3. So negative infinity to -0.3. And then it's decreasing. It starts decreasing again at positive 0.3. And then if I zoom down, let me zoom out. Let me go ahead and write this number down before I forget. Until I get to 7.5. And then for our last one, this one is decreasing. So this one's just a parabola, so it's decreasing from negative infinity until we get to -0.4.